Today is Thursday, April the 10th, and we are taking a day trip to Sintra, which is on the coast of Portugal. We're partway there now, and this is a little village, retirement village called Assace, and it's got a lot of fishing boats. There's an old fort up here that was built in the 1500s, and that protects Lisbon. We're about maybe 45 minutes outside of Lisbon. And the tour guide was telling us there's a lot of British and Canadian people that come and retire here because the weather's pretty much nice, you know, in the winter. You know, you might get down to 10 or 12, 5 degrees, whatever, but you don't get any snow. And you can see there's an influence because there's a lot of British pubs and things like that that have been developed over the last years. And we're supposed to get rain today, but so far so good. There's a sandy beach down there, but lots of little birds were down there eating. But the water's not that warm, so. There's even a tall ship out in the harbor there too. See it in the distance. And here's a whole row of pubs, and some of them are British in nature, some are Portuguese. It's a very charming town. There's a lot of really narrow streets and shops, and it's very, I can see why people would like to retire here. It's like a British pub right down in there. And the streets are all nicely tiled, street names on the sides of the buildings, so it's very decorative. And you can see the tiles, the Portuguese tiles all over the roof. One of the main products of Portugal is cork. They produce the majority of it. And you'll see cork hats, cork purses, cork shoes. There's even cork on the seats in the transitway on the subway. Here's a statue of Pedro the First, who's pretty tall. And these have these beautiful tiled. Yeah, it's the tile museum. Looks like the city hall. And the sun is out, so we're going to sign off from here.
Even though we have two over here, usually they surf a little bit more in front of, a little bit ahead. But right now this area is very, very more surfers over there in the middle. This is a very common place for people to do this type of activity. However, it's also a very dangerous place to do it at the same time. A lot of rocks that people don't know, and with the movement of the sand due to the wind of this area, if you look to the right, sometimes the rocks are uncovered.
You can see some sand drifts here that the sand's been blowing onto the road. And we're now at the westernmost point in continental Europe. And if you go directly across the ocean for about 5,000 kilometers, then you come to Trump Land, Washington, D.C. And back in the 1400s, this was considered to be the end of the world. And beyond, the ocean just fell off the edge into hell, or whatever you believed in. It's called Cabo da Roca. And the wildflowers are all blooming here, so there's a strong perfume smell in the air. Really reminds me of the Pacific coast of California. And there's a lighthouse that still works. No one lives in it though. It's all automated. There's a rugged rock down there. And we should probably head back to the bus. Now we've come to a winery that's also the westernmost winery, yes, in Europe. So we're going to do a wine tasting here. And it's quite mountainous and hilly around here, so we're right on the coast pretty much, but the roads are very, very narrow. And this is our tour van here. And that's the name of the winery. And I think we're going to be doing our wine tasting right here. They've got all the wines set up over there. It's just some more rooms in the winery. Yeah, it looks like a wood barbecue maybe.
Keep in mind that I'm biased.
Here we are at lunch.
They cook here.
And
cook it with love. So I'm sure you're
it's going to be a local Portuguese. We got melons,
It's very common
olives.
for us to have the prosciutto with the sweet lemon all together as an entree. So I do suggest you to try it. In the bags you have the Portuguese bread. If you haven't tried it, please do. You're not going to regret it. As far as main courses, all of them are good. I've tried them all. I come here almost on a daily basis, so I've tried everything they have on the menu.
Well, we finished lunch and now we've scaled the mountain and we've come to a palace and we're going to go visit the palace. We're in like quite a subtropical jungle place here, I would say. And very narrow roads. And we're just at the entrance to the castle, and in a few minutes we're going to head up. Quite a tourist place here. We're in the forest here. And in this area of the garden there's all these different trees that have been imported. That's a tree from Brazil. These are giant sequoia trees from California. Well, we've scaled up and now we're at the Pina Palace. It was a multi-year construction. The most recent is
You will see already a different door.
1800s.
Different architectonic style over here in front. One thing that you can see is different angles. Okay, the first thing is over there a lizard. What happens is, back in the basically the biggest architecture drawing and scenarios that we never saw. Back in the days was the place where
and this is a representation of the bell and tower. You got the Knights Templar crosses embedded.
The
lion
would go to the
and
commercial
a
square,
bear.
would go to this house, and then from that moment on it would be traded or would sold as well. So this is not only representing these treasures, these spices, but representing the treasures in general.
And there's a close-up of the bear and the Templars and the lion. Now we've hiked up inside the palace and there's a pretty intimidating looking gargoyle there. So this is a sea monster.
So the oldest thing that I mentioned that was built over here, it's over there. Okay, so the chapel, 1147, built over here. In the chapel there was a small secret. Okay, if you want to, okay, on the left side, in this kind of same way, there is a small secret that if you take a picture, it's going to
Here's a view looking out towards the ocean. So here's a view from the top of the Pina Palace. P-I-N-A.
P-E-N.
Oh, P-E. Oh, Pena Palace. So that's like Pina. Yeah. That looks like the Friendly Giant Tower there. And they've got all the beautiful tiles. It's the Arabic influence. Well, we've made our way to the final stop on our trip at Sintra, and it's a beautiful little town. Lots of little places, tapas, bars, whatever, narrow streets. Kind of reminds me a little bit of some of the like Jufen in Taiwan. Well, we managed to score some ice cold water. But as you can see, this is basically a big tourist area here. So there's lots of little back alleys, and they've got tapas restaurants, wine tastings, patios, and it's very hilly around here. So you're always climbing up or down, but it's super, super cute. And we've come across a sleazy all-night sardine shop, and they do these sardine Ferris wheels in the window. We saw something similar in Lisboa. Yeah, there's no shortage of little cute little places. And bacalhau is cod. So cod, of course, is the national dish. So far, we haven't really experienced it. And we're just about ready to head back to our tour guide, and then we're going to go back to Lisbon. This is the National Palace de Sintra. Palacio Nacional de Sintra. And this is the view from the balcony of the Sintra Palace. And we're signing off from Sintra. Well, I lied. Here's one final shot of Sintra.
Oh,
with the
wait for the bus.
castle way up there. That's the castle we were at before. It's a 64-minute walk from here, all uphill.